Hi there. In our weekend service this weekend, we asked students to submit questions. What are things they want to know about? What are things that we can help them about, whether it's a weekend service or a small group, or even resources like here on our YouTube channel. And so today we want to share with you what the top 5 questions were for 8th graders in our weekend service. Now, to give you a little bit of context, when they walked in the service, there were Post-it notes available. Blue Post-it notes meant they had a question they were asking about their family. A yellow Post-it note was a question about school or about science. A green Post-it note was a to-do question. It was one of those, does the Bible really say we need to do this, or what does the Bible say to do in this situation? A purple Post-it note was one they would write on if they had a question about Jesus or about the church, which there were a lot of those because we're working through the book of John right now. There are also questions that just general confusion or things they had a question about that didn't fit one of their categories was pink, and they had a question about social media or technology, it'd be orange. Once all the students had submitted their questions, we challenged the students, especially here the 8th graders, to go back up, read all the questions submitted and posted up on the wall on these Post-it notes by 8th graders, and they could vote. Each student was able to take 5 dot stickers and give 1 dot sticker to each question they wanted to vote for, which then meant the wall looked something like this. The questions that were on Post-it notes that had the most dots let us know those are the ones that students really want to know about. And so today, we're going to share with you the top 5 questions asked by 8th graders in our service. All right, just to get started, the 5th question was 2 very similar questions that both got a lot of votes and came in for a tie in 5th place. Now, the first one, what are ways to share the gospel with people at school? Very good question. Tied with that was, what should I do when I'm in a class that talks about evolution and not creation? So students wanting to know, on the one hand, how do I share the good news about Jesus with people at school, whether that's a classmate or a teacher? And some wanting to know, what do I do when they're talking about evolution and not creation in a science class? Well, we have some really good resources that we're going to share about that, some that are already available on our website. And we're going to talk about this in a future video to kind of help students out with both of these questions as we go forward. We'll definitely deal with the first one a lot in the spring as we get into the book of Acts, but we won't make them wait that long. We'll go ahead and give some answers and some resources here on our YouTube channel and some separate videos for those. All right. 4th place for our 8th graders, if God knows everything, why didn't he know that Satan would tempt Adam and Eve and just stop it? Was it his plan from the beginning for his son to die? Wow, that is a good question. That is not a simple, short answer, quick social media post question. That's definitely a conversation. That might be something we talk about in a small group setting, so we can unpack this a little bit more and talk through it, especially because this is one that definitely would make sense more in an 8th grade context and a little bit harder to explain with 5th or 8th graders together. And it may just be a video that we begin to have a conversation with here online, so be looking for that. 3rd most popular question, what's a good way to ask my friend to come to church? I'm afraid what he or she will say. So now in the school context, or maybe in a club context, in a sport, someone wanted to invite their friend to come to church with them, and they're nervous that basically the friend's going to say no. Maybe the friend will make fun of them. And so we'll talk a little bit more about what that means to invite someone and to bring them to church to really encourage them. This may be something that you talk with your kids about and kind of share some of your own experiences of inviting a friend or a coworker to church and what that's been like, to be an example for them. This question was interesting. So we honestly put up the ones that were most popular. This one for 8th graders, are Christians allowed to cuss? Was the 2nd most popular question asked. Whether or not you're laughing at that right now, that's a question that students are asking. And so we will address this. That might be one that you have a conversation with your kids. Maybe there's a situation with their friends or family that has made this a question, but that was the 2nd most popular. And the most popular question was this one or a form of it. How can I develop a habit of reading the Bible more or daily? Now, we definitely have some resources on our habits page. That'll be linked below in the video description, but we will talk more about this throughout the year, but we won't make them wait until our January habits lesson. We'll go ahead and give some resources now to help students to get this habit going moving forward. Those were our top 5 questions from our 8th graders this weekend. We'll take time throughout the year to pause and collect those questions just to make sure that we're addressing some real felt needs that students have in their lives, but also to kind of point them to where we have resources. They may have missed a weekend. We may have actually talked about their question on a previous weekend, and so we'll point them to those resources and those videos and things. We also want to let you know that your student doesn't have to wait for one of these weekends to ask a question to us officially. We have a link. They can scan this QR code. The link is in the video description. They can submit a question anytime, and it goes into our pool of questions that we can answer. They can ask it anonymously and just wait and see if the question gets answered, or if they really want someone to follow up with them, they can leave some contact information and we'll follow up with that student and help them out with that specific question. So that's there and that's available. We love the opportunity we get to partner with you in helping students get to know and follow Jesus. And we just encourage you to have conversations with your child at home. Ask were any of these 5 questions one of the ones that they asked, and then talk with them about what the answers might be or help them find some resources, and be watching this channel, and we'll have some more videos to help you out with each of these questions and more as we move forward here into our fall semester. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.